Welcome to This Explainer. I am so thrilled you're here today because we are diving right into a concept that honestly completely flips the script on modern relationships. Today, we're talking about how regulated women maintain healthy boundaries and self-respect in modern dating. You know, we spend so much time in dating culture obsessing over how to be mysterious, how to stand out, or how to perfectly play the game. But today, we're throwing that out. We are looking at the psychology of maintaining your own inner peace. We're breaking down some incredible insights on the traits that actually make someone truly unforgettable. And spoiler alert, it has absolutely nothing to do with playing games. Right off the bat, this quote completely shatters the ultimate illusion of attraction. Society constantly feeds us this idea that to keep someone's attention, you've got to be chaotic, or so fiercely independent that you're just cold, or endlessly mysterious. And sure, those things might spark an initial attraction, right? But think about the lasting impact. The person someone spends years trying to replace, it's the one who made them feel peace without losing their own. It's this quiet, grounded energy that totally outlasts any superficial spark. It really boils down to this fundamental difference, the performer versus the regulated woman. On one side, you have the exhausting act of constantly trying to win someone's approval, changing your behavior based on their mood or totally panicking when they pull away. On the other side is the regulated woman. This is the quiet power of someone who just doesn't lose herself simply because someone else becomes unavailable. She stays warm, she stays calm, and most importantly, she never shrinks herself to fit into someone else's confusion. So, here is our roadmap for today. We're going to unpack this paradigm shift by hitting 5 key areas. First, the myth of performance. Second, defining what regulated actually means. Third, this idea of feeling like home. Fourth, warmth without transaction. And finally, the power of distance. Okay, let's jump straight into part 1, the myth of performance. The crucial takeaway here is that she doesn't become unforgettable by trying to be unforgettable. Desperation and all those strategic little games we see in dating, they literally always backfire eventually. When you're constantly performing, trying to say the exact perfect thing, or artificially manufacturing mystery, you just aren't being authentic. A regulated woman is memorable precisely because she isn't acting out a role for validation. She's not chasing his distance, and she's sure as heck not punishing his return. She is just solidly herself. Which brings us nicely to section 2, defining regulated. So what does this actually mean? A regulated woman is someone who knows how to hold herself when someone else acts confused. I absolutely love this distinction. Being peaceful or regulated does not mean being a passive doormat with a permanent smile plastered on your face. It doesn't mean you just put up with bad behavior. It means that when someone else brings chaos or inconsistency to the table, you don't absorb it. You stay grounded in your own reality. You're calm for sure, but you certainly aren't clueless. All right, moving to part 3, feeling like home. When someone is truly regulated, their presence acts as a literal sanctuary. Around her, a partner doesn't feel this constant pressure to perform, explain, defend, entertain, or, let's be honest, pretend to be way more emotionally evolved than they actually are. She eliminates that underlying buzzing anxiety. I mean, think about it. Around her, a late text reply isn't going to turn into a full-blown courtroom scene with timestamps, screenshots, and cross-examinations. The anxiety's just gone, replaced by a real, undeniable feeling of arrest. But wait, because this captures her balance perfectly. Home is peaceful, yes, but home also has doors. What an amazing metaphor, right? She provides immense warmth and rest and safety. She doesn't punish her partner for small slip-ups, but she also isn't pretending she didn't notice outright disrespect. She has clear, observant boundaries. She's a safe haven? Absolutely. But access to that haven is a privilege, not a given. Let's transition to section 4, warmth without transaction. We really need to talk about this contrast because it is so common. It's the difference between genuine nurturing and taking on an emotional, unpaid internship. A regulated woman offers love that does not feel like a transaction. She's present, but she isn't clingy. She's soft, but she flat out refuses to sign up as an unpaid emotional intern who overfunctions, fixes everything, and bends over backwards to somehow earn love. Genuine, quiet goodness doesn't need to scream for attention or keep a scorecard. And because it's this sincere, unconditional warmth, it completely bypasses the ego. A partner's ego might try to ignore this love, or their bad habits might sabotage it, or, to use a pretty hilarious phrase from the source text, their avoidant little inner raccoon might just run into a dustbin and hide. But the body? The body remembers. It remembers the deep safety of ordinary moments, the casual voice notes, the stupid laughs, feeling totally loved without feeling controlled. Real nurturing naturally becomes the gold standard because it never has to beg to be remembered. And that leads us to our final section, the power of distance. This mindset right here says it all. I like you, but I like myself too. When disrespect enters the chat, the woman a man truly respects is not the one who argues the longest. She is definitely not the one sending a 7-paragraph text message starting with, I just feel like. No way. She understands that her self-respect has to outweigh her desire to keep someone who is acting poorly. So how does that boundary practically play out? It's a 3-step progression. Step 1, disappointment or disrespect occurs. Step 2, she responds with silence and actual distance. And I really mean actual distance here. Not dramatic social media games where she blocks and unblocks him or posts cryptic quotes about her new era while obsessively checking his last seen status. It's just real distance. Which naturally leads to step 3, she calmly adjusts his access to her. This is such a powerful reframing of what standards actually are. Standards are filters meant to weed out those who would waste your softness. They are not magnets meant to attract everyone. Seriously, if a woman's calmness, boundaries, and self-respect disqualify a whole lot of men, good. That is exactly the point. You aren't trying to mold yourself to fit anyone who happens to walk by. You are actively protecting your peace. And this perfectly sums up the entire paradigm shift we've been unpacking today. She is not playing hard to get. She is hard to misuse. A woman who doesn't just collapse every single time she's disappointed becomes unforgettable for one simple reason. She refuses to turn love into begging. She doesn't punish. She doesn't perform. She simply adjusts access. And that, right there, is where deep, lasting attraction is forged. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a real question to reflect on regarding your own boundaries. Are your current standards designed to attract everyone, or are they successfully filtering out the people who would just waste your softness? Take some time to think about how you can incorporate the quiet, peaceful power of the regulated women into your own life. How can you create a home with doors and offer warmth without ever sacrificing your self-respect? Thank you so much for exploring this with me today. I hope this sparked some powerful insights for you, and I'll see you next time.